Hello, today I am going to configure static host routes. In the previous lectures, we have learned how to configure a static route. Then we have learned how to configure default static route. Afterwards, we have learned how to configure floating static route. Floating, it means that we configure a route as a backup. If the primary link is down, gets off, then the router will switch to the floating static route. Today we want to know how to configure static host routes. So let's define first what a host route is. A host route is an IPv4 address with 32-bit mask, or it could be IPv6 address and of 128-bit subnet mask. Okay? The following shows the three ways a host route can be added to the routing table. So host route can be of in three different ways, and these routes can be added to the routing table. First way, the host route automatically installed when an IP address is configured on the router. The first time we configure an IP address on the router, it will automatically install host route. Then the second way, when we want to create a host route inside or within the routing table, is that we configure this host route as a static host route. So any static host route should be shown in the routing table, and any configured IP address on the router should also be shown in the routing table. This is already we did them. Let's check the third one. Host route automatically obtained through other methods. This is discussed in later courses. Okay, so we have to study only two cases. Automatically installed host routes. Basically, or automatically, Cisco iOS install a host route, also known as local host route, when an interface address is configured on the router. So a host route allows for a more efficient process for packets that are directed to the router itself rather than for packet forwarding. So it means this local host route, whenever we install, whenever an interface is configured on the router, the Cisco iOS of the router will install a host route other than the address configured on the router. It's create automatically, and you remember it's the L, as I told you in previous lectures. So this L local link, local address, root address, or root local root is used for what? Allows for a more efficient process for packets that are directed to the router itself. So L is related to packets routed to the router itself, not for forwarding. This is very important. This in addition to the connected route designated with C in the routing table for the network address of the interface. Okay, so the local routes are marked with L in the output of the routing table. If we come back to the first, almost to the first slides, we will, you see, this is local. When we configure this, the iOS, Cisco iOS will generate this one automatically, as I told you. Remember? And for this interface, also, it creates another L automatically install this by the router. So this address is used when the packets that are coming to the router is to itself, not to other networks, not to forward them for other networks. This is very important, and this is also done for testing or for simulation reasons. Okay. Okay, we are here, yes. So the host root or local host root is installed automatically when an address interface address is configured on router. So it will have letter L, and connected this interface will have C. Okay. Static host root, we are in the same. A host root can be manually configured with a static root to direct the traffic to a specific destination device. Host root can be its static root. We can configure it to traffic to direct to forward traffic to specific destination device, such as server shown in this figure. So it's not router, it's like device server, for example. We can use static here. The final destination is a router. We can use static host root. It means that static should be static, host for a host. The final destination for this route is a host. And it should be not router, for example. The static route uses a destination IP address and a subnet mask /32 mask for IP version 6, 4, and 128 for the prefix for IP version 6 host routes. Subnet mask 225 4 times and /128 prefix length for IP version 6, because we don't have the subnet mask for IP version 6. We just need to change the slash prefix length here, 128. So imagine we are here at this router branch, and we want to define a static host route to the server. This address of the server, IP version 4, and this is the router, and this is one way, okay? How we can do that? So the example, how to configure. The example shows IP version 4 and IP version 6 static host root configuration on branch router to access server. Here, let's take and we can put it aside. Okay. Okay, don't worry. So imagine that we want to configure the static host root to this server while we need to configure it at this branch router. So IP root, this is for static. We should add the network. Basically, before we were using the network address, and it could be in IP version for 1.0 or 2.0 or 3.0, and the subnet mask next hop address. So let's compare. This is the destination address instead of destination network. Before it was, for example, 200.0. No, how we have a normal host address. Okay? And then the next hop for this router is ISP. What's the ISP? It's 198.51.100, not 0.0, 0.2. Because this is for IP version 6, this is for IP version 4. This is the address, the next hop, this router, and this interface which is linked to this branch router. So the address is 198.51.100.2. 100.2. That's correct. Then we use this as the destination network or destination host address, which is this address, and we add the 4 times 255 as the subnet mask. We do the same. So instead of having network address, we have host address here. So a specific destination, not for a network. Okay. For the IP version 6, the same. Let's check. The network address is here. The host address is here. It's the same 238. Let's check. It's 208 to 208. That's correct. And this is the next 1.2. ACAD 1.2. Let's check. Let's check it. Okay, that's correct. Here's the address 1, ACAD 1, and this is 2. Okay. And we exit. So if we type to check the routing table at branch